welcome, Monarchy followers.
Let's redo it. Go.
You show me how it's done.
You got it.
Show me how it's done.
No, you got it. Go.
Welcome to the Monarchy podcast.
There we go.
With Edgar Velasquez, Julie here. And today we have two special ladies here, Sharmi and Daylen from, they're entrepreneurs, multiple business owners, and franchise VP and franchisees. Okay.
Correct. Physical Therapy Now Coral Gables is a little monster. That's our second location. It's a little monster. It outperforms every other center within PT Now currently. So it is a top performer. And I attribute that to my business partner. She knows the industry. She's super on top of our billing, our insurance claims. So it's been awesome.
Excellent.
And we decided to diversify. And that's how I met the owners of Mania Med Spa. That's a medical spa, a franchise business as well, a startup. Obviously, one of my skills is growing businesses from the ground up. So jumped in on board with these guys. And after seeing the financials, the business model, after a few months, we decided to open one of these as well. So we are in Coral Gables. That's in development. It's getting ready to be open August. And then we're also getting ready to do our second one out here in Kendall as well.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
That's amazing. Amazing. And are you involved with the second one as well, or only with PT Now?
No, I'm also involved with the Facial Mania.
Okay.
Gables.
And before you became a business owner, how long were you a physical therapist or?
Before jumping in, I will say 5 years.
Okay.
So I have 7 years already as a physical therapist assistant.
Gotcha. Yeah. I have a physical therapist. I'm going to give her a shout out. Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
I always bug her. I always tell her I'm going to leave her. She's really good, but I just mess with her. But I'm going to show her this podcast so that she, gets jealous. I'm interviewing you guys. So
that's awesome, Sharmi. I was just thinking you were such a good, salesperson that you sold yourself to franchises.
Yeah.
Because her job was to sell the franchise, correct?
Absolutely.
And you ended up buying into two of your, the franchises.
Absolutely. So obviously I kept seeing the success of franchisees, what we call franchisees, the people that buy into the business model. I kept seeing their success. And obviously I knew the business model. I was with the corporate offices. I knew A through Z, everything about it. And I'm like, I can do this myself. And delegate it out because I wanted to focus on expansion. Growth, expansion has always been my thing. So I said, let's do it. And I just happened to jump in with amazing partners, people of the industry as well. And it's taken off. And so now our common goal is expansion. We want to be 18 and 20 unit owners. So we'll probably do about 2 a year.
Okay.
That's great. I have a question.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if you're familiar with what we do, public adjusting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea. We represent homeowners to help them get what they're owed for their damages to their house after a fire, hurricane, all that good stuff, right?
Business owners as well. Wow.
Yeah. Would it be better for me to just continue to, because we're expanding into other states, right?
Mm-hmm.
But via, growing from within, not necessarily franchising.
Mm-hmm.
Is our business even franchisable, if that's a word?
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. So service-based businesses are awesome to franchise. Tax services as well. Attorneys, a franchise also. So the Cochran Law Firm was a big franchise business. It's a great way to keep your brand and the way that you run it and control it and expand faster than you could yourself, right? With vested owners. That's the nice thing about franchising. It's federally regulated. You do keep full control of your name and your brand. You keep the control of it.
Yeah.
And people are coming to you for that control. They're coming to you for your experience, for your knowledge, to avoid that learning curve. I'm sure that often you get people saying, how did you do this? How did you grow?
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to give up all your trade secrets. It's how you did it. So that's exactly what franchising is. It's your licensing out your experience. You're licensing out your name, your brand that you've established, and then your experience as well. So your service is absolutely franchisable. Okay. It's a service-based industry. And now what you would be doing is putting everything on paper, making everything systematic so that you can teach it to someone else and they can do it. And then moving forward for a 10-year term, they would be paying you a percentage of their gross to you for your experience, your training for the brand. So absolutely, as you expand, I'm sure that you expand into management, right? So you have managers running in other centers, or you have managers running in other centers. The difference is that you would have a bunch of vested managers.
My biggest fear is that even though you have to find, usually people that invest into a franchise, they're vested into the business, right? But I don't know if I could ever find somebody that cares about it as much as I do. And that's fine, but so far it's been a
totally agree. It's everybody's fear when they think about franchising, especially smaller. I see it often with like restaurant owners. Matt Kushner, I've talked to him a couple of times, and he's like, no one's gonna do it like me.
Yeah.
And even with our franchisees, my partner, all the time, it is a fear that even franchisees have when they come into the business and they're running the business day to day. They're operators, letting go to management. No one's gonna ever. A therapist. No one's ever going to provide therapy like me. No one's ever going to care about it like me. But just like you and the amount of money that you put up, they're vested in the way that you are, and you keep full control. So franchising is almost a little one-sided towards the franchisor. You keep control. And if they're not operating the business to the standards that you lay out in the franchise agreement, you take their investment. You take ownership of their investment.
Gotcha.
So they have a lot to lose. I mean, a startup, when you put an investment range, call it that you're $150,000 startup investment range. They're putting up $150,000. They should be operating the agreements, the business to the standards that you're laying out in front of them. And if they don't, the liability's theirs. You have the power to take the business over, take it back. So that helps a lot with control. It's probably one of the drawbacks from a franchisee's perspective as well. You own this business, but the control really of the business model comes from your franchisor.
Interesting. So, and how do I determine whether my level of desirability, like if my model or my company is desirable for other people to franchise?
Do people ask you, how did you start this business? How do I get started? Do people ask you for tips, advice about where you are today?
All the time. And a lot of those people actually work with me currently. But the idea of franchising has never really
it happens.
Come up.
It happens often. It often happens that initially a franchise business model, the first couple of franchisees are employees, staff. You worked for Andy at one point, as a matter of fact. It's often the people that have worked for you that are interested in learning that then become your franchisees. So yeah, I would say that you can definitely, it's a great way to grow your business while keeping control of it. In essence, they're vested managers.
Yeah.
You have full control. It's what you're doing now, but now getting paid for it.
Yeah.
It's the other way around.
And it's
it
crazy.
It would be a first in our industry. I've never heard of anything like.
I'm sure they're out there.
As public adjusters?
As public adjusters.
I've never heard of it either.
Physical therapy, the same. And we, a franchise consulting firm will help you identify. So do a competitive study, a competitive analysis of your franchise competition. You want to know who your franchise competition is. What's their fee structure? So what are their royalty structures? What are they charging fees for? Are they buying the uniforms from you guys? Yeah. So you want to get to know that there's insurance businesses. Every business out there, Allstate, these are licensed and franchise businesses as well. Everything that you see in large multiples typically are going to be franchise businesses. And so, yeah, I'm sure they're out there, but a consulting firm would do a competitive analysis. And if you're the first, which when we franchised the physical therapy business, we were the third. So we were the third in the nation. Today, there's many others, but it's kind of awesome to be some of the first ones. You're ahead of the curve. Yeah. So by the time that you get to the second and the third, you're the second and the third to be doing this, and these guys have so much more experience. So typically people want to go with the ones that have been doing it longer.
Correct.
So you do have a little bit of an edge there.
Gotcha. I love having edges. That's my thing.
Yeah.
That's my thing. What does your day-to-day look like? Since you're involved in so many ventures.
It's how do I put it? It's very busy. It's like go all the time. But it's also as slow as I want it to be. I'm a business owner. You're a business owner, and as an executive as well. There's a lot of flexibility in being a business owner, right? So yes, I work a ton. When I'm working, it's like go, and it's diverse. There's a lot on my plate. But if we decide we want to take a week vacation, we have the business well established, and taking off to Hawaii in July. We go to Colorado.
I never do those things.
Yeah.
I never.
Yeah.
Especially not Hawaii.
I've gotten really good about, because of the industry, about delegating out. And so I'm big on delegating, and I find often that business owners have a hard time with that. She has a really hard time with that as a business partner. It's hard to let go. I also do, as franchises, as I'm growing, I do like to put a partner in the business because they're more of a day-to-day. So I look at the business more from the outside, the KPIs, the key performance indicators, and those type of things are what we're looking at.
So we've spoken a lot about PT now, and I was just curious, the Facial Mania Med Spa. It's a medical spa, but does it do with facials, or I don't know? I picture like a salon kind of thing, or no?
Not a salon at all. So we are the first full service medical spa in the nation. So to give you an example of our competitors, Ideal Image, which is a franchise business and an excellent system, just sold out almost, really. Ideal Image does aesthetic medicine, right? So they do everything that is the injectables, Botox, fillers, as well as aesthetic machines like laser hair removal, fat freezing. And then Massage Envy or Hand and Stone do massages and facials. So we're a combination of both, because the margins are definitely in the aesthetic medicine, but the massages and the facials draw the customers through the door, and it's a great way to upsell and cross sell. So we're a very complete business model.
Okay. Do any of these businesses work with like medical insurance or anything like that? Do you bill medical, or it's just
no? Physical therapy does. So physical therapy now does, and I do know all about healthcare clinics. Insurance billing, side by side, physical therapy now is a much more complicated business. Healthcare insurance billing is much more complicated than a cash-based business. So we bill insurances, and it's interesting because you see a patient today, and you're billing that insurance. You have to be in network with them, so you have to get the contracts. And then once you have the contracts, you see the patient, you don't get paid today. It's an AR business. So you see the patient, it'll be anywhere from 60 to 90 days before you start to see payments, if they pay you. Because if you made a mistake, they're going to say denied, and you have to rebill, making corrections. And it'll be another 60 to 90 days before you get paid. So
if I see some relation in the insurance, frustration of claims and things like that. So everything's relatable.
Very detailed, very detailed. You have to make sure that you're putting in patient demographic correctly. If not, it'll kick back. So things like that are very, very important to the two businesses. I remember when we were getting our home insurance, when we were purchasing the home insurance, I think we had like 3 policies side by side. We're like, this is the cheapest one. This one works. Let's move forward. We didn't even look at what was.
And that's how most people decide, which premium they're going to go with policy.
Exactly. But you don't have anybody there telling you, hey, that's the cheapest one, but this is where you're going to not have. So, and that's what we're going to do for you. We're going to do, in essence, part of the job of the agent.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes simple math. You might be saving, like I said, $15 a month. And then I can tell you, well, look, with this policy, if a hurricane were to come, you're going to have to dish out $20,000 out of pocket. Or you can pay $10 more a month, but if a hurricane comes, you're going to pay $5,000 out of pocket. You do the math.
How does that benefit you guys?
It doesn't.
So, but now you have a relationship with the client. Now they know to come back to you.
Right.
Very
and
nice.
if you were to
have, and it's completely optional.
If you were to suffer, any kind of damage and you contact us, then we most likely would be able to help you because we already ensured you had the right coverages. Otherwise, we may be the one telling you, hey, sorry, I can't help you because you don't have the coverages. So
nice. Definitely bring it to you guys.
Yeah. Well, we do free. You can email it to us. We do free policy reviews.
That's exactly how I picked it. I was like, well, this one looks about right.
And I wish there was a service like that for medical insurance because it's just as complicated. And then you don't find out till your claim gets denied by your provider or whatever.
Car accidents as well. So that's a big, that's a big bulk of our business. And we work a lot with personal injury attorneys as well. And we often find people have no idea what's going on with their coverage. They get taken by the insurance companies. And so we try to mitigate that using the attorneys as well. So we work a lot with personal injury attorneys besides the commercial insurances and workers' comp.
Yeah. Insurance is a big part of our life. Health insurance, life insurance, medical insurance, home insurance.
Yeah.
Everything. All kinds of insurance.
You need insurance for everything.
So we're not experts in every kind of insurance, but at least we're here to help people with homeowners insurance, alleviate and understand that. So that's what this podcast is all about. It's about educating and helping consumers.
On the business side, so when you're leasing space, I'm trying to think, we also obviously insure the business. Yeah. Did you take a look at that as well, if it's covering the business?
100%, yes.
Nice. Awesome. So I obviously have a lot of franchisees within the system and we're expanding and growing. So I'll have you take a look at those as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And every time, whenever you have a leak or you have an idea of... Even if it's minor, always consult it with. It doesn't have to be with us. If you want the best, you consult with us.
That's right.
So yeah, just call somebody out to take a look at it. Somebody that's in the insurance industry, because
would have never
something
thought.
very minor can carry extensive indirect repairs.
And it can lead to business interruption, loss of income, loss of revenue.
100%. We just went through
inventory,
it.
merchandise, equipment, machinery. It's
We we leased our space, and when we leased, I mean, how would we have known? The AC is like on top of the unit in the Coral Gable Center, as a matter of fact, and the AC broke. Going back to taking a look at the lease, we never expected to have to cover the AC unit. The insurance wasn't going to cover it, and we ended up paying for that out of our pocket. A unit for a place that we don't own.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we run into these type of things.
Typically, the appliance itself is not covered, but if you adjust the claim properly, you may be able to have enough money to not only do the repairs to the drywall, but cover portions of the appliance itself. Nice. So that's the way. I mean, you have to manage your money a little bit better, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
we were looking for space in Kendall or Doral. We were looking to open another one, and our broker knew exactly our demographics, what we were looking for. And we're negotiating from our landlords on every single lease. We have a benchmark anywhere from $100 to $150 a square foot in build out money. Yeah. So think about your lease here, TI money, right? It takes an initial investment of $300,000 down to $150,000.
Correct.
We're looking at we got almost $100,000 in Coral Gables, and on this one we're negotiating at $150,000. And they do that because franchise businesses typically don't go out of business.
Gotcha.
And so you have a lot more room for negotiation and for leverage.
okay. And this week I want to mention actually is our 5th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Monarch birthday week.
Congrats.
Those some effects here.
A little confetti. So going back to like marketing and business and, speaking about the franchises, can you tell us what is like the most important thing in any business or any brand that can offer to their clients? That's something that applies across the board to any industry, any business.
Absolutely. I actually ask this question to business owners a lot all the time, but I'm not going to put you guys on the spot. Let's see if you guys think the same. So I get a lot of things. I get people responding, saying things like, having a great provider, having a great technician, having a beautiful center and all of that. But for me, the most important part of business, the most important aspect of business is finding and retaining your customers, knowing who your customers are, because you can have the most beautiful space in the world and the best technician in the world. You could be the best at what you do. But if you don't know who your customer is and if you don't know how to get them through the door, it's not going to make any money. Yeah. So for me, the most important aspect of business is just that. It's finding and retaining your customers. So that leads me into marketing. It's a little bit different with healthcare versus the medical spas. And I'm sure with you guys, it's a lot to do with networking, right?
It has. And it's actually an area that we're getting into more and more now.
Advertising is the other one?
Advertising is the other one. Yeah. And word of mouth has
been word of mouth, of course.
Our first. And we have excellent client retention.
Fantastic.
Most of our clients, I mean, I haven't really ever heard of a client going to another PA or, us. That doesn't happen over here, as far as I know. Yeah. But now we're getting into, I'm realizing, like, we need to start networking. And the marketing, we're kind of fine-tuning it so that it starts to generate. It is not there yet, but we are investing a lot into that.
And it is an investment, absolutely. So on the PT side, it is more of a business to business relationship. Our patients, we know where our patients come from, and they come from our referring doctors, right? Yeah. So orthopedic surgeons, primary care physicians, whoever is referring out. So with the physical therapy business, we're typically going business to business, marketing, networking, building relationships, and establishing relationships with doctors and attorneys in the insurance companies. With the medical spa business, about 96% of our business is drawn from digital advertising. So they're night and day. They're completely different businesses as far as that goes. And yeah, on this one, the franchise provides an advertising company that does advertising, SEO, digital advertising solely for medical spas. And they have a really nice ROI. So I think it's really important to understand, find a business, if you're going to go in the route of digital advertising, find an advertising company that knows your industry, is familiar with your industry and the demographics, and then use them and run with it. Fortunately for this one had been tested. They'd been doing it for the other businesses. And so night and day. And then obviously from there is retaining them, making sure that you provide excellent service
Correct.
as well. Yeah.
Correct. And from the idea that you have of our business, what do you think would be our best, client, not retention, but like seeking new clients, our best,
Yeah,
our
so-
best
Best approach, I guess.
approach. Correct.
So I love networking. I don't know if you guys have ever done the BNIs and the chambers of commerce. I think that they're a fantastic way to get some of that word of mouth and relationships that are going to send people through the door. So insurance agents, I'm sure, since you guys are public adjusters, I'm sure that maybe insurance agents refer to you guys, or they don't. They avoid you
No,
guys.
quite the opposite.
They
yeah.
avoid you guys.
The thing with our business, it is a service based, but it's not an elective service, right? So it's not like, you're service based too, but it's not like, hey, I'm gonna go get a treatment. It's like, if you don't need us, you can't hire us. So it's really getting our word out, our name out there, actually, our brand, so that when people do have a loss, because these are accidental things that happen, then they can call us. So I feel like that's where it's a little bit different and trickier, I guess, for us to reach like the right person at the right time. That's why it's just
Who are your primary referral sources?
we have 22 PAs. Yeah,
Okay.
So
Existing
yeah.
clients, basically.
Nice.
So
Very soon we're getting into other. I mean, we're across the state too. So it's not like we target like one specific area. It's like it's the whole state. Well, other states as well, but
mostly
speaking
Florida.
of Florida, yeah.
We did the same with physical therapy, and I think just franchising in general. You're always going to grow out from where you're located, where you know you're going to grow out. So yeah, we grew in Florida and then jumped into Texas. Florida and Texas are nice states, just not as regulated as New York and California, Chicago, Illinois, super regulated. So for us here, in most other states, you do have to be a physical therapist or an MD to own these type of businesses. But fortunately for us in these states, you don't. So we can just employ them.
Okay.
Question,
Tell me.
because we're in the process of hiring.
Yeah, as soon as she said employees, I was like,
What do you look for in an employee? Or this is a question more for Daylens,
Absolutely.
if you wish to answer it. And if you do, just come a little bit closer to the microphone.
Well, she actually does the interviews.
You do?
Yes, I just tell her what to do. Example,
You
For
wait, you
PT.
tell her what to do.
what to look at. Like the resumes, they have to have experience, at least for in our business. But she does the interviews.
No, she does a good job in taking a look at the experience, right? So do they have outpatient experience? So had they worked in this industry specifically? Good bedside manner for that type of business. How well do they communicate with people? How friendly are they? So those are some of the things that we look for. The PTA business, they go to school, they learn this business. It's just having a really good personality. So it's not tough to hire on the therapist side, really.
Yeah.
We have a little bit higher turnover with the administrative positions. So with them, again, a little bit of experience because it's a very complicated business. But hiring hasn't been complicated for us at all, really.
Any specific core values that you guys look for in new hires?
Well, they definitely can't have any criminal backgrounds for either of the two businesses because we're regulated by the state. So core values. Interesting for the med spa business, they have an app that manages intrinsic motivation. So it gets to know the 7 pillars of intrinsic motivation because money is an external, and intrinsic is the internal motivation. So I just started to dabble in that, and it allows you to be a little bit more proactive than reactive because I'm sure that you're aware as a business owner, hiring, training is costly. So you do want to hire, if someone is a good employee, you want to keep them and you want to find out how excited they are. Do they understand the goals, the vision of the business? How excited do they feel like they can meet those goals? And so the app kind of helps you manage that. It asks you, it's an artificial intelligence, it asks you questions daily and it gets to know your employee and they let you know on a scale how motivated, how excited they are to be working for you. So I'm interested to see how
sounds interesting.
how that one plays out. It's a big Silicon Valley company, partner of ours. So I'm interested to see. But right now, therapists aren't really tough to hire. They do their job, good personalities, very, very friendly, a core value. What are your core values that you look for?
Loyalty, hard worker,
Yeah.
honesty, of course.
Yeah.
Motivations, just there's so
yeah,
many.
You have to be self-motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we there's certain things that we look for that they have to be there in order for you to be an employee here.
Yeah.
And we have been able to keep a really good culture because of those core values.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are more important than the experience or the
Exactly.
knowledge, because
We don't-
those can be attained, but those
Absolutely.
other values cannot.
Yeah, for our business, I know for
ours,
you
yeah.
guys, you need
Right,
to go to school. But for us, I'd rather have somebody that knows very little and I can shape them, but has those core values rather than the alternative.
She's the same. She likes the same. She actually prefers new grads.
So it's very hard to find,
Culture is
good
so
people
important.
and-
Culture is so important. Having an open door policy where someone can feel that they can come in and they can talk to you. So we're not. I'm not so much of a workhorse. I don't like to drive the whip. I'm reasonable. Let's have conversations. Let's be honest with each other. That's definitely something that I look for.
Yeah.
Someone that's going to be honest with me. And I try to have a good relationship with our employees. What can I do to help you get to where our goals are, right? So what's our vision? What's our goal? What's where we need to be this month? How many patients we need to see this month? How many visits we need to see this month to understand your goals? If you're doing social media, you need to do it. Do you have a problem with it? So I ask them open-ended questions. And how can I help you get there? So open lines of communication, open door, text me, call me, doesn't matter the time. I'm here to help. So that's definitely my approach with hiring. Daylens keeps it very professional. She keeps it all about the business. I definitely go in there like a happy camper all the time and thanking them and saying, great job. So I do try to motivate and thank them. And we do bonuses and those type of things for our employees as well. When they're doing Employee of the Month, we do that as well.
Excellent. Got some tips there I got to write down for you guys. I have some questions here from some of our followers. Because we posted I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I saw the questions. I almost responded. I'm like, I have questions.
I have questions for myself. All right. What's a typical investment amount someone needs to open a franchise?
It depends on the type of business. Yeah.
Actually, we touched on that.
I think we kind of.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's.
It ranges. It ranges on the businesses. There's franchise businesses like cleaning services. That is like a very low initial investment. Actually, Amazon is doing a nice licensing agreement right now. Actually, their initial investment is incredible. It's just they're doing what are they called? Like couriers, the vans. They're I can't remember what those centers are called, but that's a $10,000 investment. They've
like a distribution center.
Yeah, like a distribution center, right, exactly. And so you have to run a distribution center. The initial investment is almost nothing. It's like $10,000, but it's a lot of work. And so they're licensing that out. So it depends on the business that you're looking at. But I would say if you're going into a retail business, you're looking at about 150 plus. Total initial investment. That includes the franchise fee, the build out. So like a physical therapy now at startup, you're looking at about $150,000 to $200,000. Franchise fee, building out, and obviously operational cushion to cover rent, utility, overhead, and salaries in the first couple of months of operation. Same with the medical spa business, but since it's a cash-based business, this one is profitable month to month from its first month. So we obviously recommend the cushion. This one's more of a $300,000 investment, but we've done such a good job negotiating these leases that we're bringing it down to about 150, 200 because we're getting so much from the landlords. But it's better that they have the $300,000. It's just more of a cushion overall. But I would say there's ranges: 150, 300, $500,000, restaurants, $1 million investments. So it's a range. You can search for whatever range you're interested in.
Just $1 million.
You know what I've always wondered? What does it cost to franchise a Chick-fil-A? So that place, like they can open one across the street from each other and they will both have a line that wraps around.
The Ulta Shopping Center is opening a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the Chick-fil-A
know.
that's going in there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see that because I think there's only one down here in Doral. That I'm aware
I don't know
of.
Down here.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's one like 5 minutes from my house, but
really?
I don't know over here.
Yeah, I think in Miami, I think there's one in Doral. It's the only one that I'm familiar with. Yeah. So I'm excited to see them open up. So people hear the franchise fee, $35,000, $40,000. That's the fee to license the name and the brand, but that's not the initial investment. They're probably Subways, quick serve restaurants like that, $150,000 to $300,000 investment range is what you're looking at.
Are there financing options for these?
Yeah. So the Small Business Administration, the SBA, is the federal loan program, and they tend to prefer franchise businesses. So if you are a franchise business, you should get on the SBA registry. So you're going to submit a business plan. You're going to submit your franchise disclosure document or FDD, and then you get on the registry. What's nice about getting on the registry is it's a great way to grow businesses, again, using other people's money, right? So you can sell, definitely you can sell. If they sell, the franchisor wins, because if they sell, you get a transfer fee. So there is fee structures that are involved with the franchise. They pay you 10 to 25% of their sale.
Wow.
And then they pay you to renew. So if they want to continue to operate the business, they have to pay you to stay in the business model, and there's non-compete. So they can't come and learn the business from you. That's a drawback. We were talking about this earlier. They can't come and learn the business model from you and then say, okay, I'm closing it or selling it, and then open up another one. There's non-competes in the business model as well. So it's very safe for franchisors, which would be the owner of the franchise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very intricate.
It's a lot of
No, I'm getting all of it.
Good.
Which, surprises me because
it's
I know I know a lot about insurance, but everything else is kind of abstract. But this I understand very
most
well.
business owners that those are the conversations. So initially when I'm calling business owners and have you ever considered franchising, they're like, some are like, okay, yeah, I'm familiar. No, I don't want to grow my brand. I keep it, control. And it's always a main concern of franchisors. And then some just get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And those are typically the ones that franchise. It's a lot of work, but similar to what you have going on. You have about 100 employees, you guys said?
No, I wish.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
Okay. So yeah, as you
About 35.
35 employees. So I would say that physical therapy now, as a franchise system, and that is an intricate business model. It's insurances, obviously, it's an intricate business model. He has no more than 15 employees. Executive officers for each department. So you have someone that does operations, you have someone that does sales, development, you have somebody that does insurance, credentialing, and typically your own staff. So it's not like you're having to hire a specific expert, maybe one to do sales.
Yeah.
But really typically your own staff. You yourself know the business better than you. So real estate, you're going to outsource. We use CBRE, a national real estate company that knows real estate. Probably your own attorneys as far as the part of the business that pertains to your business. When drafting the FDD, you're going to hire a franchise attorney to draft it, but you'll bounce off of your personal attorneys today, business attorneys as well, healthcare attorneys we used, but really not a lot of work having to deal with. You expand quickly, right? You expand much quicker than if you were to do it on your own. So having to deal with 30 people that all come to you. So initially it's a lot of work, but you start to delegate out. And so then you're not having to be on top of everything.
Yeah.
But I think Andy went into this business, the CEO of PT Now, he went into this business like, I'm going to do this so I could step back a little bit. And I think his first 3 or 4 years, he was like, whoa, I had to, it was a lot of work on his shoulders. And now I think he's getting the ability to step back a little bit. He's delegated out.
I like that idea of eventually being able to step back, because right now, for example, for me, we're growing and it seems like we have more staff and we have a manager, and Yuly, it's like she's a supervising adjuster and she's a manager at Broward. But I feel like I'm busier now than I ever was when I had less staff and when I had less claims, and because I'm bombarded with people coming to me trying to figure it out. So
that's definitely Daylens' concern as we go in the direction of expansion. Although I do sell the franchises, I develop the franchise system. Our goal is to expand. Expansion is our goal. So her biggest concern is, as an operator, how do I trust, and actually we spoke about this, how do I trust someone else to run the business like I do? How do I trust that they're not stealing money? How do, so one of her biggest pieces of advice, you want to say it?
Go ahead.
So
say it because I have thoughts on that.
So one of her biggest pieces of advice is for anyone that's looking to start a business when they're first getting started, is run the business yourself. The first 6 months to a year of operations, and that's my biggest piece of advice. Besides,
and that was one of our questions from our followers, by the way. What was the one piece of advice you can offer? And here it is.
But yeah, definitely from Daylens' perspective, because from Daylens' perspective, she was saying that, you would have to be an operator. Some people buy into businesses. They buy it for their kids. Those are the worst. No offense, but they're typically not the best owners. They don't care. It's not their own money.
Exactly.
But definitely, if you're gonna invest your own money into a business, if you're gonna run the business, operate the business, 6 months to a year, know every position.
Right, get to know the business.
Right. Know every position of the business is the biggest piece of advice. Understand your fee structure because it's a 10-year fee structure. Now we really know the business. We hardly need support. We almost operate completely independently, and we pay a big amount in royalties. And it's going to be that way for 10 years. We can't get out of it. And even if we wanted to open others, we can't. So understand that. But my biggest piece of advice is due diligence. Look at the FDD, have an attorney review the disclosure document, talk to every owner, as many owners as you can that are currently operating and existing, and ask them what their day-to-day is like.
Gotcha.
Biggest piece of advice for someone that's looking to start or buy a franchise.
Excellent. So we're going to wrap this up, but I want to run something by you first, an idea that I have in mind. So I've said this a million times before, and I didn't go to business school, right? So whatever I have accomplished up to this point has been, knocking down walls and knocking people out. Just kidding. So I have this idea, and the concept is, how about I hire a business developer or somebody that knows how to grow a business way more than me, and then I get to focus on what I do best, which is teaching how to become a PA or how to handle claims. What do you think about that? Should I continue to run the business and have somebody that teaches the PAs, or hire somebody that grows the business and I focus on the PAs?
I mean, if what your talent and you're saying yourself is what you're passionate about is more teaching the PAs, I would focus on that, and I delegate out growing the business, and where you can control a little bit about setting minimum performance standards, right? So you need to, you have to teach them, train them as well. They have to become almost like you. They have to know as much as you. No one's going to buy a business from somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. So they have to know the business as much as you do. They have to be your right hand, and work hand in hand with you. But I would say that if you're passionate and you enjoy teaching others, that you hire a developer. You're still going to be involved in development. At the end of the day, the final decision maker in who your franchisees or who you hire is up to you, right?
Correct.
But I would say that I would delegate that out, because it's a job within itself. Now you're spread. You're doing 2 and 3 and 4 jobs, which is the job of a business owner.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in delegating out. It was hard for me to let go of sales. I was like, I'm going to do all the sales, me, no one else.
Yeah.
But if we want to continue to grow and I want more freedom, I needed to delegate out. So teach somebody, but contractual agreements are awesome.
Yeah,
Them
no,
under
I
contract.
have those all over the place.
Yeah, contractual agreements, contractual. Yeah. So that's what I would say to you. If you like teaching, teach.
I hate teaching, but I'm really good. I'm really good at what I do.
Yeah.
So, and I don't expect, but I hope that everybody that's under me knows as much, or at least has the same passion. So that's why I would want to focus on that. But my financial advisor, David, he disagrees. He feels like I should still be the one, pushing the business forward, growing it, and having other people teach. So I like your idea better, just because it sides with my
because it sides with you.
Yeah.
I think as far as financial advisor, I use my accountant. I bounce off of him a lot, and again, I learned a ton. I don't have a business degree as well. I learned all of this through passion because I love it. Also, knocking my head, and then obviously continuing education, shows, franchise shows, etc. But my financial advisor, or my CPA, is big on Sharmi. Delegate. I tell him my ideas, what I want, what my goals are, and he's like, this is how you're going to get there. But he's big on delegating out, and me too. I'm with him. And once you do it and you start to see it, she's getting there. She's letting go a little bit. I've had to drag her out of there, but she's letting go. And in the next business, we're going to test one fully delegated out. So we're going to oversee it from the outside.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not sure about that.
We're going to oversee it from the outside, how the business is performing, but we're going to set the task for the managers, for management, to make sure that they understand what the goals are, where we need to be, and let them do it. How can we help them get it done? And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Being available for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be. Delegation at first is tricky. You got to be involved, but little by little, you're able to let go. And that's how you can scale.
Sure.
So
Excellent. I really appreciate you guys.
No,
coming.
us too. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. But before we go, I want to do a little rapid fire. What is the first thing you notice about someone when you first meet them?
Their smile.
Okay.
Their vibes.
Vibes?
She is a big vibe girl.
Like energy type
Yes.
thing? Like,
Energy. Yeah.
Okay.
I know how to read you.
how are we doing so far?
How's our vibe?
Super.
Super,
Like super good or super bad?
Super good.
Thank you. Yours as well. Both
Thank
of you.
Thank you guys.
Sunrise or sunsets?
Sunrise.
Sunset.
Sunset?
Sunset.
Sunrise.
Sunrise.
It's too early.
Yeah.
Well, we'd miss it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
no.
miss it.
Yeah, sunset.
Just
You'll
like the
miss it
sun.
too.
I'm like, I saw my husband. I'm like a flower. So probably not like a big early riser,
You're
actually,
not.
now that I think about it at all. But I do like the sunrise. That's what comes to mind.
Gotcha. What is the last thing you think about before you go to bed? About before bed?
Business.
Oh, so I'm not the only one?
Alarm sets.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
my mind's still going, business, what can I do?
I run her calendar.
Yeah, she is my calendar. She's like, did you put this on your calendar? I'm normally late to things. I'm
To
not
everything.
the best. I'm not the best. I do schedule and calendar things because if not, I would be even more. No, but yeah, I business expansion, growth. You know, that's what I'm always thinking about. I've found now that these were my babies. The business is your baby, obviously.
Yeah.
And then
big-ass
came my
baby.
munchkins. So I have a 1 and a 3-year-old, and that was a big shift. So now I find myself between 5 and 8 p.m. trying my best to put the phone down and hanging out with the munchkins. And on the weekends, we love being out on the boat and kind of being outside as well. But if not, it's business.
Good to know. Good to know.
You're not the only one, I promise.
Yeah. I was going to say something, a comment about the boat, but never mind. Because I have one. It's just broken and I haven't been able to use it for like 3 months.
Yeah. So my husband owned his boat for years. Actually, that funny story. We met on Tinder. I used to use Tinder so bad. I used to use Tinder for networking. My CEO would be like, swipe right. Is that how it goes? Right? So he would be like,
sure.
swipe right. That guy's an insurance. He's with an insurance company. And I'm like, really? He's like, yes, bring him into the office. God, I hate you. Fine, I'll talk to the guy. But yeah, so we met on Tinder. He had a picture on a boat. So I love the ocean. I'm a diver. I love being out on the water. So I love salt life in the boat. So we met, first date on a boat. And he had his boat for years, but so expensive, maintenance and upkeep. So he sold it, and now we're part of a boat club. And that is such a good deal.
Really?
It's such a good deal. So we got grandfathered in, but we pay $400 a month. You pull up to the marina. You don't have to drop the boat. You don't have to get up at 6, 7 in the morning to go and drop the boat. You just pull up. You don't have to clean them afterward.
You reserve it though, right?
Yeah, you have to reserve them. You reserve one weekday and one. As a matter of fact, my husband's on the boat right now getting stone crab traps. As a matter of fact, so it works out. But yeah, you reserve one weekday, one weekend, and then we know so many people. Actually, Daylen has a boat as well. So, but she doesn't ever go
My
out.
dad.
She's-
I don't know how to drive them.
No, clearly she does not.
Clearly.
I think they flipped over a jet ski, drowned. some
We drowned
keys
a jet
last
ski.
time.
Oh my god.
You drowned the jet ski, right?
Yeah. Not
the jet skier.
Not another person.
No,
The jet ski.
But you know, you meet friends with boats as well since you're out there all the time, and it works out good. It works out good for us. It's convenient with the munchkins. So
I'll get that info too for the boat.
yeah, carefree boat club.
Once I
they're
let go of mine, I can become part of a club.
Yeah, it's convenient. At least for him, where he at least finds one day a week. It's like his job. I have to go out on the boat once a week. So for him, during the week, it's easy to get. You don't have any issues. It's the weekends. So he loves it, and I like it. It's easy. It's convenient. And it's inexpensive comparing to having to maintenance a boat and keeping them in a slip. So good. Yeah, it gets expensive.
Ladies, thank you so much for being
You're
here.
welcome.
I really
Oh,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for having us, guys.
I have learned a lot, and you have given me a lot more to think about. But I always encourage that because all for the growth, right?
Right.
So before we let you guys go, I want to remind the viewers to please like and subscribe, and most importantly, comment.